Hello, in this tutorial I'll teach you how to convert static data into dynamic data. So let's log in our framework, choose the simple workspace, and let's select my first project, which is the current project that we created before, and in the dashboard of the project let's create a new page and let's name it test. Let's choose the user-defined page. Let's skip the tours. Let's browse the templates. We already have one here installed, so let's select this one. Okay, and now that we have our new page with the templates, let's drag and drop some items here, static items, so then we can convert them into dynamic. So here they are. Let's add the items, which are these three items here, and the idea is to convert these into dynamic data into a database table. So for now let's just save this and preview the page so we can see what we have. So currently we have this, and what we want is to convert this into dynamic data into a database table. So how do we do this? So there are multiple ways of doing that. So what we see here, we see a title, we see a description, and we see an image here which is hidden, but that we could see if we show the borders. We see that we have here an image. Okay, so we need to create a table in the database with these three attributes: image, title, and the description. Okay, so one way of doing this is to go to this widget structure here and drag and drop it here, or we can go to the databases and click in this add table button. And in here we just add the new table, which in this case we can give the name article. The tables needs to have an ID, which needs to be an automatic primary key, and then we want to put it's the title, the description, and an image. The system detects automatically the type of each field. If it doesn't, you need to go here and select the correct one. So let's just add for now. Okay, table was correctly added, so we can close it now, and the table is here. So now from here we could drag and drop the table to here. That's one way of doing this. We had done this in the previous tutorial, so this way, but this time we're gonna do something different. So what we're gonna do is basically we'll convert this interface here into dynamic data so we can show the articles inside of here, the records inside of here. So currently this doesn't have any data, so it's empty, it's an empty table. So let's just create new records in this new table. So let's open it, let's select this option here, manage records, and let's add some default records. So here it's BAA, and here it's like some text. This is what you see, what you get editor, so we can do whatever we want in here. Let's choose here an image. Could be this one. Let's save. Okay, let's save another one. This will be the BBB. Something like this. Doesn't really matter what is the text, just showing you an example. Okay, currently we have two records in our new table that we created. So now we can close these pop-ups and we can go back into the page editor. So now we know that inside of this article table that we created, we have two records. So now we want to convert these to show that two records. So first of all, we need to have a template inside of here. So what we need to do, what we want is to replicate this element here for each record. So these three records are exactly the same, so we can just erase these two because we only need one. So let's erase this record here and this other record here, and now we can convert and tell the system to tell So get the records from the article table and replicate this element here for each individual record. So how do we do this? Okay, so first of all, we need to load the records of the article table. So let's select the parent item of this. So let's select this item and let's go to the properties. So let's just expand here the properties so we can see this better. And let's go here, dynamic widgets. And in these dynamic widgets, we have here a resource tab. Well, another way of doing this, which will be much faster, much better, is to go here to these three dots menu and click here, load resource. It's exactly the same what I was doing manually, but in here it's much faster. So in here, let's just click in the new resource tab and let's select the table that we created, which was the article table. So let's just find the article table, it's here. And what we want to do, we want to get multiple records. So everything is correct, so we just need to click the button OK. And automatically what the system did was to create a new resource to get all the records from the articles table. And this part is done. So basically, if we go to the properties, so that the dynamic widgets, the resources, and then the load resources, we see here that we currently have a load type, the resource articles created. Now we want this resource to be loaded on page loads. So let's select this option here, and we want then this to automatically to rewrite then this element to replicate this element for each record. So we need to load a specific handler, which in this case is not any of them. We need to come here, loads. In this case it's the lists, and we want to select this field here. So list table entry resource. Okay, now we have the correct handler here. Now what we need to do is to go to this div, the element that we want to replicate for each record, and we need to scroll down, go to the properties, and in the properties we want to select this as a row item. Instead of the item widgets, we want to select the option row item. So if an element is in as this type, as selected as a row item, the handler of the parent, so the handler that we select here in the parent div, so this handler here, this load handler, basically will search for that type and will replicate what is inside of here for each record. So the first part is done. What we need to do next, we need to say, okay, this div needs to show the title, this other element needs to show the description, and this one needs to show the image. So how do we do this? So basically we click in the specific element and we do the show resource attributes, it's one way, or we just go here, the display resource attributes, and we put the show resource attribute and you put the name of the attributes of the table that we created. So in here, this corresponds to the attribute title, this corresponds to the attribute description, and this one here, it's an image, so it is a SFG, so we need to convert this first to an IMG first, and then we need to replace this one with the resource that we already created with the image attributes. Okay, perfect. Now note that the image attributes that we created in the article table is a binary, so as the codes of the image inside of the table. So if we put here the code, it won't work. So what we need to do is we need to put here a prefix so the browser interprets that as the binary. So to do that and to show you better, what you need to do is to search this on Google, HTML EMG base 64. So if you search this right away, you choose the first link, and basically what you need to do is to copy this part here, which basically tells the browser that what is after here it's basically the binary code of the image. Well, it's not the binary, but it's like a binary representation in base 64. So in here basically what we need to do, we need to paste it, okay, and now it should work the corresponding image here. Additionally, we can set some sizes. Currently the size is very small, so we can put this 100 pixels by 100 pixels, like the image, something like this, and we can save. So if we preview now this page, we should see two records with the corresponding images, as we can see it now. So basically this is one way of replicating what we had, basically the static data that we drag and drop it here. This is a way of basically replicate that into dynamic data. Additionally, we could set some IDs in these links here, so we just needed to come here in the links, in the properties, and we could point this to some page like the index page where we wanted to show like the ID, where we wanted to show the article ID that we created, which was basically it's the ID. Okay, so what we are doing here is showing the correspondent ID for each individual record in a link. Okay, so if we save and if we refresh that page, now we can see that if we click here the ID is 1, and if we click here the ID is 2. So ID equal to 1, so it's redirecting to the index page, which is currently blank, and if we click here, shows the ID equal to 2. So it's working. So this is useful. Why? Because this is a list, so in case you want then to enter in the article properties, then you could show in here, you could show like a summary, and then you could enter in some other page, redirect some other page, where then you will show more properties, something like that. This is just an example, just to show you how easy it is to convert static data into dynamic data. And that's it. So thank you very much.